It began like every other family vacation with my in-laws, me doing the work and them pretending I didn't exist. We'd arrived at Aspenwood Haven 2 days earlier, a luxury resort nestled in the Burkers that looked like a picture torn from a travel magazine. Whitewashed exteriors, manicured gardens, and a lake that glistened like it had been ordered from a catalog. Clara's family had their traditions. This retreat was one of them. For them, it was a time to flaunt status, compare, golf handicaps, and exchange half-hearted compliments about designer shoes. While I carried the bags and ordered the wine, I'd woken before dawn to pick up fresh produce from the local farmer's market because Vivian, my mother-in-law, liked her salads organic. I prepped the grill, lined up the charcuterie, made the rounds at the pool with trays of drinks like a trained butler. No one noticed, or if they did, they pretended not to. I'd grown used to being invisible, a shadow at the edges of their bright, effortless privilege. It was a role I'd mastered over 12 years of marriage, just enough presence to keep the peace, but never enough to matter. That night I found myself once again in the open air, dining area beside the pool, setting the table for dinner. Clara's father, Leland, was sprawled in a lounge chair, glass of bourbon in hand, regaling a cousin with stories of oil deals gone right, or wrong. It was always hard to tell. Clara hovered near the bar, laughing at something Silas had said. Her laugh had that musical quality that made people turn their heads. But tonight, it grated like a dull blade. I laid the last place setting and stepped back, scanning the arrangement. Everything was perfect. The salads glistened under the soft lantern light, and the main course rested under warmers on the sideboard. I caught my reflection in the glass door. A man in a pale blue button-down, sleeves rolled up, a faint sheen of sweat on his brow. The help, I thought, just as Vivian's voice sliced through the air. She held her fork like a scepter, a queen at her makeshift court. Her eyes found mine, with that same cold, amused gaze she'd perfected over years of Sunday dinners and holiday gatherings. "The help doesn't eat with family," she declared, loud enough for every head at the table to turn. A chorus of laughter rose up like a rehearsed song, each voice blending in harmony, Clara's included. I felt that laughter like a punch to the chest. Clara's eyes flickered toward mine, then away. Her lips twisted into a half-smile that tried to say, "I didn't mean it." But that smile couldn't erase the sting. I stood there for a breath, my hands at my sides, the weight of 1,000 unspoken truths pressing down. I looked at Vivian. Her lips were curved in victory. I looked at Clara, at the people who'd spent years overlooking me, mocking me, dismissing me, and I felt something cold and certain settle in my chest. A realization that tonight wasn't just another dinner, it was the night everything changed. I leaned forward just enough to meet Vivian's gaze head-on. "That's fine," I said, my voice steady, calm, each word clear as a bell. "I own this entire resort." A hush fell over the table like a dropped curtain. Forks clattered against plates. Leland's glass trembled in his hand. Clara's eyes went wide, her lips parting, but no sound emerged. I didn't wait for the shock to fade. I turned, walked, around the table, and headed toward the terrace. My footsteps felt lighter than they'd ever been, as if a weight had been lifted I didn't even know I'd been carrying. I stepped outside. The night air, cool and clean, the hum of cicadas filling the space the family's laughter had occupied moments earlier. I paused at the railing, looking out over the lake. The water, dark and smooth as glass. A single lantern flickered by the dock, casting a soft golden path across the water. I thought about all the years I'd spent letting them treat me like an afterthought. A convenient wallet, a servant in my own life. I thought about the deals I'd made in boardrooms and coffee shops, the contracts I'd signed under shell companies and trusts, the way I'd built Monarch Echo Holdings, one acquisition at a time. All while they laughed. All while they thought I was no one. Behind me, I could hear them scrambling, chairs scraping, voices rising in confusion. I imagined Vivian's face, frozen in that perfect mask of superiority, cracking. I imagined Leland's jaw tightening, the wheels turning as he tried to figure out how this had happened under his nose. And Clara, sweet, complicated Clara, standing there with her perfect posture and her practiced smile, suddenly seeing me not as the quiet accountant she'd married, but as something else entirely. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I let the night hold me for a moment longer, the cool air on my face like a baptism. I thought about the next steps, the flash drive waiting in Reese's hands, the staff ready for the new guest policies, the Harrow family's illusions waiting to be shattered piece by piece, and I felt ready, because in that instant, I wasn't the help anymore. I wasn't the quiet one, the wallet, the man who brought the salad. I was the owner, and the owner had finally taken his seat at the table, even if I had to build it myself. Flashback, who I was before. My name is Miles Drayton, and for 12 years I'd been treated like the household pet who pays the bills. Clara's family comes from old money. Her father, Leland Harrow, ran oil companies into the ground and somehow still walks like a king. From the moment I married Clara, I was the quiet one, the one they thought they could laugh at, use, and discard. It started at our wedding, a reception that cost more than my parents' house. Leland gave a toast, welcoming the help into the family. Everyone laughed like it was the best joke they'd ever heard. Clara had given me a look, somewhere between pity and amusement, that told me don't take it personally. But I did. And I kept taking it personally. Every single year. At every family vacation, they'd treat me like I was hired help, though I was the one paying for half the trip. Every holiday, every dinner, every family function. It was the same. Silas, Clara's older brother, called me the butler once, in front of extended relatives. No one corrected him. Vivian always found a way to point out how I wasn't refined, how my name didn't carry weight, how my presence in their family tree was a branch she'd gladly prune. I learned to nod and smile, to pretend their barbs were harmless jokes, to drink the sour wine of their approval with a grin that hid the bitterness. I carried luggage while they breezed past me, chattering about